All right, so today's topic of discussion is going to be centered around who you are today and who you want to be. I know we've talked about it before. It's a part of the online course, but I wanted to go into this in more detail, specifically the thought patterns and thought processes that need to take place in order to actually shift how you're thinking and the person that you are, so you can actually become the best version of yourself and the person you want to be. So this top line here, who you are, this is where a lot of you may currently be operating mentally. This is where 99% of the world operates when it comes to living life. And right now, who you are is dictated by the beliefs that you have. And your beliefs drive your emotions, and your emotions drive your thoughts. Those thoughts drive your actions, and those actions ultimately circle back around to who you are every single day. And in order to actually level up and become the better version of ourselves and not let our emotions and thoughts control our actions and behaviors, we need to actually reverse this. And it starts with, first, who do you want to be? So you've heard me say it before, you cannot get the results you want without figuring out where you actually want to go. You need to know in detail, how much do you want to weigh? How do you want to think about life? What type of nutrition plan are you following? How do you talk to other people? How do you feel about yourself? All of those things. Who do you want to be? And the best version of that is ultimately what we're all striving for. Now, in order to do that, we have to reverse that little sequence from above. So who you want to be needs to start by the actions that you take. And down here, I kind of go into more detail about that. So what actions are you going to take that are actually going to change your current state of mind, the current thoughts you have, the behaviors you have? And you can see here, if we reverse it, the actions that you take lead to new thoughts. And then those thoughts drive new emotions and beliefs. And that is what's going to lead us back to actually getting to who you want to be. So if we look down here, what actions do you need to take to change your current state and thoughts? Then how are those emotions and feelings, and what are they when you've completed that specific action, that new way of thinking? So for example, since most of us here, we're trying to just be healthier, lose weight, what action needs to take place in order to change the current thoughts you have around dieting or around binge eating or around starving yourself or telling yourself you can't have certain foods or around carbs and protein, things like that? And if the person that you want to be is, hypothetically, let's say you want to be an athlete. You want to be an Olympic level athlete. I'm not saying that's your goal. We're just going to use that as an example. But the person that I want to be today is an athlete. So what actions do I need to take in my life to become an elite level athlete? Well, I probably need to exercise every day. I probably need to make sure that I'm getting enough rest. I probably need to make sure that I'm recovering and stretching. I probably need to make sure that my diet and eating is on point. I need to make sure that, I'm not stressed out and worrying about other things so I can focus on my sport, that kind of thing. So you can see, okay, if I want to be an athlete, I want to be an Olympic level athlete, what actions do I need to take? Well, I need to wake up every morning and go for a run, and then follow that up with a morning smoothie and some meditation so I can get some mental detox. And you can see how those actions are now going to change the current state that I have, the thoughts that I have for myself. And those new thoughts, based on those actions that I'm taking, are going to drive new emotions and new feelings. And then that is going to create new beliefs and thought patterns about life based on the actions you took. So kind of down here, a little summary of how this applies to your life. Showing up every single day and moving and training, working out, exercising, eating well, taking charge and control of, your thoughts and emotions and behaviors, and owning life gets you into a more positive state of mind. And then you start thinking, okay, now I'm winning. And this winning and thinking drives more positive emotions and how you feel about your current surroundings and the environment you have, and your confidence builds, and the way that you think about yourself starts to improve. And when you look at yourself in the mirror, you start to love the person looking back. You start to believe in yourself again, because those actions are driving new thoughts and behaviors, which are making you successful. And you can now back yourself up instead of, if we look back up at the top, whenever we mess up, if we have certain beliefs about things and we live our lives emotionally, it causes us to have thoughts and actions that aren't who we want to be. And that's where most people operate from. It's just a natural thought process. But as you can see, it doesn't lead you to becoming that best version of yourself. So if you reverse it and you start, I'm sure you've heard the saying, fake it till you make it. Well, instead of actually faking it till you make it, we're going to behave and live exactly like the person that we want to be would live like. And only you know that. Deep down, only you know what the best version of life looks like for you. And based on that, you know what actions you do now compared to what actions you're not doing. And the actions that you're not doing are the actions that need to be done, because that's what the best version of you would do. If I wanted to be an Olympic level athlete, but I wasn't getting up every morning and working out and exercising, and I just ate donuts and waffles and, fast food every day, do you think I'm going to perform at a very good level? Do you think I'm going to ever reach my goals? Well, no. And then by doing those things, not living the actions, I'm not going to have proper thoughts about myself, about life. I'm going to have negative thoughts because I'm not going to perform as good as I could. And that's going to cause me to have negative emotions and then negative beliefs around myself. And you can see you can reverse engineer this process right here and see how it can work against you up here if you aren't starting with the behaviors of the best version of you. So your homework, your mental homework for the day is, I want you to take some time to sit and consider, have you thought about who you actually want to be? Have you spent some time to sit down and think about, okay, who is the best version of me? What does it look like? How do they think? How do they carry themselves? How is that person's life? And once you've done that, once you can figure out who that person is, your next step is to figure out, okay, and it's going to be, we'll call it an educated guess. And this is where you start the trial and error process of living life. Okay, who do I want to be? What actions does that person take to be that person? We'll use, I always use Oprah and Ellen as examples because everybody knows who Oprah and Ellen are. But if you don't know their backstories, at least Oprah, for example, Oprah was told that she was never going to be any good on television and she didn't have a good personality. And if she believed that about herself, who she is, that would drive emotions negatively to think, okay, I'm not good enough. I should never be on TV. I'm never going to amount to anything. And those thoughts about not being good enough would drive her to never take action on being Oprah is a world-known person. But she refused to believe all of that, and she knew who she wanted to be. she knew what that best version of herself looked like, and she knew what actions she needed to take to get there. And those actions drove thoughts that reinforced positivity and confidence in herself and belief in herself and faith in herself. And that emotion caused her to actually become who she wanted to be, those emotions and beliefs. So that's your topic and homework, is to figure out who you want to be and what actions that person needs to take. Once you've figured out what actions, the best version of you needs to take, then you start doing those actions. You just simply start implementing them. Once you start doing that, it's going to start causing new thoughts. You're going to start thinking differently about yourself, about life, about what you can achieve and accomplish. And that's going to drive more positive emotions and beliefs around yourself to help you achieve ultimate success of becoming that person you want to be for yourself. So, does that all make sense? If you were getting it all from the beginning? I know several of you hopped on here in the middle of it, but I'm gonna stop the share there. So, that's your homework for this weekend.